南无本师释迦牟尼佛，南无本师释迦牟尼佛，南无本师释迦牟尼佛。We pay homage to our respected teacher, the Shakyamuni Buddha. Good. So, how is everybody doing? Good? Always good, I know. Otherwise, you won't be here. Right? Okay, let's look at page 29. 29. This is a nice picture. A nice picture with a 2/3 moon and treetops. I like this picture. It's very peaceful, very quiet, very romantic, very serene, very quiet, but yet very bare. Okay, I've said it all. Now it's your turn. I have said it all. Now it's your turn. Unmute all of them so that they can unmute themselves. Okay, Mali.
What I see in this picture is a clear blue sky. I feel spaciousness and clarity when I see it.
Clarity.
And also the partial moon, appearance of the moon, like you said, I feel calmness, quietness, and serenity. So if it was the opposite, like it was stormy, cloudy, maybe my feelings would be more restless.
Yes. Good. Thank you, Mali. Hands up. Nora? Yes, Nora, please.
To me, it looks stark.
Yeah, it looks.
The trees are bare. It just, almost makes me shiver a bit.
Yeah, so bare, right? Like Eva said, eerie. Yeah, eerie. Yeah, it could really bring on such a feeling. Sometimes, eerie. Yeah. Okay, good. But you're pretty safe, Nora. Don't worry.
I just think it interesting that for you took the picture, that you would choose to crop it that way. It's beautiful, but I just find that interesting that you chose to capture the moon and so much sky.
Yeah, because I like space. I like space a lot. You can see my pictures actually. There is a lot of space in my photos. I think because myself, I like space myself, so I think it reflects in the photos that I have taken. Yeah. Thank you. But yeah, I think that is you can say it's a big contrast, but you can also say it's an echoing between the moon and the treetops. They echo with each other. It seems that the moon are talking to the treetops, and the treetops are replying to the moon, and in between them there is a lot of space, but yet they are connected. That's how I see. That's how I see in this picture. Yeah, I think I probably was in that mood when I took that picture. That's what I saw, and I think that's why I took the picture the way I took it. But yeah. Thank you, Nora.
Thank you.
Okay. Baifun, you have something to say? Yeah.
Sifu, I think I look at the trees and they are bald there, and I think they are preserve their energy for the further to go through the winter, and they is another turn to another view to let us see what they always change and different.
Yes, yes. Good.
Yes.
Yeah, it was definitely in the winter time, these pictures. I think those treetops actually belong to our neighbors. Yeah, those are I think those are his trees just across from the house. Yeah. Good. Thank you, Waifun. Yeah.
Thank you.
Isabella, please.
Hello, Sifu.
Yes.
And everyone, good evening.
Good evening.
Yeah. When I first see the picture, I pop up like unusual, rare, because usually when I associate the moon, it's dark, evening or like with star, but it seems it's in between dark, completely dark, uh, and daytime. And when you see through the trees, it seems so bright. And then if you see carefully, I can see the different kind of blue, like the light blue, dark blue, really dark blue, and then the darkest on top.
Yeah.
And then I feel like the trees are worshipping the moon. Like,
Worshipping the moon. Hey, the moon, Bodhisattva.
okay. Yeah, and then the moon maybe act like a teacher on the stage to talk something like, oh, you guys need to be nice, and then the tree say, okay, I see, I
I
understand.
see, okay.
Something like that. Like I associate with the, not animal, but like the teacher and student.
Yeah,
Kind of, like,
well, yeah.
You can touch the moon, but it's so far away. You can only see it, but you can see it anyway. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's so close but so far at the same time.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Good. You know, it's good analogy. Yeah. The Buddha is so close to us, but yet so far away. Right? Just like the Dhamma is everywhere, just next to us, but yet it's so far away. It seems to be so far away. Yeah, I've never thought about that, but yeah, that is a good analogy, and that is a really, I mean, your own perception of this photo is your own personal view on this picture. It's really nothing wrong or right, really, right? You have something to say? Okay, take off your mask, otherwise it's all muffled.
Yeah, I was just echoing the...
Can you hear her? Okay.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you. Yeah, Sifa, I was just echoing the space, because that's what I see a lot in there, and all of the things that aren't there. It kind of brings a little bit of a sense of relief. So there isn't the ground, and there isn't animals, and there isn't all of these other things that might be there. It's very clean and simple, and
Yeah.
yeah. Thank you.
Wouldn't it be beautiful if our life is like that? Yeah, clean and spacious, right? Yeah. Anybody else? Irene, yes, please. Can hear you. Did you mute yourself? Your mic is very low. Put it high. Okay, Catherine first then. Let Catherine Chen. Did you put up your hand, Catherine? Or Ivy? Okay, Catherine, yes.
If the only thing I can say is, Sifu, I can see the branches, even though it's bare, but that it is so tense, there's so just wonder if in the summertime when it's full of leaves,
Yeah.
would that be like forest? What kind of tree would that be?
I don't know whether this is a cotton tree. Yeah.
I've never.
Yeah, it's a cotton, right? Yeah, it's a cotton tree. Yeah, it's really very straight, and there are a lot of leaves. The leaves are not big. The leaves are like not big leaves, not very huge leaves, and they're very close together. They are very straight, and they just shoots up to the like this. Yeah. Okay.
Hi, good evening. The photo that Sifu you took is like to capture the moon and the trees. The moon that we can look at it right away that the contrast. But the moon, like in reality, we always can see it, but sometimes we may interest to see it, like to learning the Buddha, like you can see, or when you're driving, you see the moon in this special distance.
Yeah.
When you drive away, but it's still there. And something like if you're focused on that, then you will see it.
Yes.
Whenever you drive, whatever so far and so close is there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Whether you're focused on that. So that's what I feel.
Okay, great. Thank you. Thank you. Irene, you ready?
I'm ready.
Yeah, good. Got it.
Can you hear?
Yep.
Okay, good. It's a beautiful presentation in the picture.
Okay.
It's object. When you're looking at it, we're here. First, when I look at it, I look. How do I say it? Identifying the object in the picture. And trees and moon, and there's some wave. In this space, different colors. So if we replace, I'm thinking if we replace that with the person, how do we see that? What kind of reaction do I have? If I'm looking at it, would I be subjective or objective? It just depends on the vision of the picture. That's how I feel.
Yeah, good. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, because it's a picture, it's different. Yeah, very different. Somebody else has put up the hand. Maria, I think. Mala. I think Mala put up her hand. No? She's gone. Okay. Anybody else? But Maria, I think Maria put up her. Yeah, I think Maria, down on the corner. Yeah, I think she did. Maria, you have something to say? Oh, she just logged in. Hi,
Hello,
good evening.
are you with me?
Yes.
Yeah. I'm just seeing the image. So the question is if by seeing this I have any thoughts.
Okay.
I don't know if it is that. That's what I might thought when I see the picture.
Yes. How do you feel? I mean, what do you see? How do you feel about this picture? How do you interpret this picture? How does this picture appeal to you?
Beautiful for me. I can see the moon.
Yes.
The moon that the other, I don't know. It's like that reminds us. Well, this is my feeling. Like we are so small. And there is so much that we don't know.
Yes.
Like
yes.
Like a dog watching the moon. Like there is so many things, and the universe is so huge and immense.
Yes.
There is so many things that we don't know, but maybe we can feel.
Yeah.
Maybe we just can feel in our spirit, in our souls.
Yeah.
I just see that it's absolutely beautiful.
Great.
And how many things that we don't know. That's my feeling. But it's a good feeling. It's
good. Yeah. Thank you, Maria. Thank you. Great. Titania, okay. Oh, by the way, Titania, thank you for letting me read your friend's comments about my book. Did she have a copy of my book?
Yes.
You send,
I share one copy. Yeah.
you send yours to her?
No, you gave me a few, so I share
Oh.
all the copies with my friends.
Good, good, okay, great.
Yeah, I hope to share the seeds.
Okay, great. Okay,
So, yeah,
there you go.
thank you. For the photo, at first I feel very calm and serene.
Yeah.
And then when second look, I see possibilities because of the huge space in between.
Mm-hmm.
And even though things may not be perfect, just like the not perfect moon, right?
Yes.
Just keep on going and exploring the space and the unknown. The most important thing is the unknown, because we are so afraid of the unknown and then we stop.
Yeah.
But I think the most important thing is keep on going.
Yes.
And sometimes maybe just wait, just like waiting for the full moon, right?
Yeah.
And it will appear one day.
Yeah.
And just don't stop, just keep on going.
Good.
And thanks for sharing the space, and I do feel the vitality, even though at first glance it's so calm and like nothing, but it's not on second look.
Good.
Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah. Great. Great. That's nice. Okay. Thank you. Yeah. Even though the moon is incomplete, but there is still beauty in it. There is still a lot of richness in there. And depends on where we are. And when we look at the moon, it will appear different. But it's the same moon. It's the same moon. And it's just like in one of the Chinese sayings that it's the same moon, but yet when it reflects in thousands of rivers, there will be 1,000 moon. But yet it's still the same moon. 咩千光咩有水千光月啊? Something like that. So yeah, so it's the same moon, but yet even an incompleted moon, it still could look so appealing and so beautiful. So we don't need to ask for perfection all the time, but yet we just need to strive towards perfection. Until you reach it, you're perfect, and you don't need to be perfected anymore, but you will not be so much attached to that perfection anymore when you actually reach that perfection. It's just like when you reach nibbana, you don't crave for nibbana anymore, And so, yeah, great, good. So that's it, right? So we will look at the passage. I like the passage. I really like the passage. When you want to shave the face, of course, it's not not women shaving the face, but but it's still the same. It's just an analogy. You look into the mirror, okay? Yeah. And then do you take the shaver and shave the image in the mirror? Because your face is in the mirror, right? Of course not, right? No, you take the shaver to your own face. So the practice is the same. Our practice is the same. Is when we see an unwholesome quality in others, we need to remove that quality from ourselves, not from the person across from us. That person is just our mirror image. Okay? So, you have any special thoughts on this? Or you want me just to go on? I think this is such an interesting passage. Even though if I don't talk, I think we could finish this whole session just by discussing this passage. Maria, you have, Maria, go ahead, Maria.
Yeah, do you hear me?
Yes.
Oh, okay, good. Yeah, so what, after listening your words is like in psychology terms, it's like you mirroring. That
Yeah.
means that when you see something that bothers you in someone, supposedly it's because you have the same trait, the same issue.
Exactly. Yeah.
So whatever, yeah, exactly. So it's exactly what the passage is saying, that whatever we see in others that really bothers us is because are in us, and the people around us is just reflecting that exactly.
Exactly.
So,
Exactly. Yeah.
yeah.
Thank
Yeah.
you. That's nice. That says it all. Thank you, Maria.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah. You're welcome.
Okay. So, all right. So, you want to go on? Is that, yeah, Wai Fun? Yes.
Simu, we look at the pear tree that is looks like ugly or leafless. Those presentation is not always is not true. Is not real. They will change. So
Okay.
I think like to see unwholesome quality is the same.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they will change. Yes. Good. Okay. Another mirror. Is it a cat looking into see a lion, or the lion see the cat? It's the cat seeing the lion in right? So I think sometimes we do actually behave like that little kitten. Yeah. And but sometimes we do actually the role actually switch. We are the lion outside, and we look through into the mirror. It's the little kitten, right? Though the role actually switch. Why does it switch? So I don't know whether you heard about a person, a sociologist called Charles Houghton Cooley. Anybody has heard of him? Way back in the 1864, he is an American. He was an American, and he was a sociologist. And his whole research actually wanted to better understand the society and human behavior. And he believed that our behavior actually influenced a lot by our peers, by the groups within a society. And so he actually developed a theory or called a looking glass self. And this looking glass self, he actually say that when we actually live in a society, we think that we are oneself, and the society is other things, or other people are two other things. So we think that we are totally separate. But Dr. Cooley said no. We are actually belong to one. But yet, our mind separated us into two, or into three, into four. Okay? So when he was doing all this research and study, he actually witnessed the breakdown of society, the breakdown of social cohesion and traditional family relationship because of this view. So he actually finally drew down a conclusion. Was he believed, he was convinced that a small intimate group which influenced behavior the most would actually also could break down human behavior. So those small intimate group like families, or like siblings, or like a small group of co-workers, or small society, because we each influence so much with each other. And with the breakdown of these primary groups, we could also have a breakdown of human behavior. So that's what his actually theory was about. So we can see the smallest intimate group that we have could be a family, could be brothers and sisters. If these intimate groups break down, the so-called proper human behavior will break down. And I think we can actually see that nowadays in the society, in our society. Especially if you are teachers, or especially like us volunteers going into the prison, we see a lot of these guys in the prison have a very, very difficult childhood, breakdown of families. Or at school, they don't get along with the peers. They break down in those, like in the classroom, schoolmates, and all those. So he actually created this theory called looking glass self in the 18th and in the 19th centuries, which I think really vividly display how people look at this also in the Buddhist, you can call in the Buddhist perspective. Yeah. So he said in this looking glass self, it actually comes in 3 stages. Okay, it's actually very interesting. If you look on, if you go on to the internet and look through his research, it's actually very interesting. And he said it's developed through 3 stages. The first stage is our image in front of others. Our image in front of others. So that dog in front of the mirror, right? In front of the mirror. So we feel, we think about our image in front of others. This is the feeling, the stage of feeling. So in this stage, there is a lot of suggestion. We think, we feel. So about our image in front of others, our presentation. This is all a very subjective thought of how the other feel about us. We think. So for example, I'm very little when compared to the big guys in the construction site. I'm such a miniature. I'm very short, I'm very small in front of the big guys. So in my mind, there could come a thought and say, oh, they probably think that I'm very small. Okay? Oh, the woodpecker. The woodpecker pecking on our chimney. They migrated. Woodpecker, thank you. Okay. And then the second stage is others' view on my image is, so what would the others, how would the other perceive me? The other's judgment of this image. So we start to identify, interpret of how people would see us. And we think that we think that because they have seen me being so small, then they would start to label me or start to actually judge me. Oh, she's so small. Probably she's not very useful, or she's not very smart. Then we can take advantage of her. So that's the second stage. And then the third stage is that will result in how we see ourselves. Okay, that's the third stage, is how do we feel about ourselves just because of what we see from others and think of how others perceive us. Right? So we create our own image basing on these responses from others. So this is all actually a very subjective interpretation. Because of all these thoughts, we start to define ourselves and maybe creating an image also, okay? And then we will start to feel about ourselves, oh yeah, I'm so small. And yeah, because they see that I'm so small, and they probably think that they can take advantage of me because I'm not smart. So I'm so small, and people see that I'm small, so they can take advantage of me. Oh, they can take advantage of me because I'm not smart. You see, this is actually all a reflective behavior, of reflections in all these responses of these feelings that ones get in a community or in a group. So that is what actually Dr. Cooley brought up about this glass theory, glass self theory. So in here, when we look at this, is it going to be healthy if we start to look at it this way? Not necessarily, eh? Not necessarily. Sometimes it could be very hurtful. Sometimes it could be very damaging. I mean, not hurtful, damaging. Because if we start to actually, for example, if we start to think, oh, well, they can belittle me, then, I will be losing my self-esteem all the time. Then I will be losing my confidence. And anything that I do, I may not have confidence to actually pursue on, right? But maybe I'm bloating up myself also, bloating up my image. Oh, I'm so big and blah, 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 blah. Oh, they respect me and they should respect me. I'm so smart, I'm so brilliant. And so you're self-bloating and you could become very arrogant on not respecting others. And also it could be you could be cutting off people all the time too. Sometimes we have these consultant meetings, and some of the consultants think that they know everything, and they could cut off people suggestions and advices, and But at the end of the day, you know what? Come back is at the end of the day they reach a conclusion is something somebody has mentioned a couple of months ago. You agree? Right? So yeah, so in order to really come out of this, we really need to seriously look at ourselves and understand ourselves and explore about ourselves. And in order to understand and explore about ourselves, we need to be in groups, in communities. We need to be in the pack. If we are not in the pack, we wouldn't know about how we respond to others' responses. So when we start to interact with people, whether others will have a good so-called response to you or bad response to you or reaction to you, that response will really determine whether you're going to have a good feeling about yourself or a bad feeling about yourself, right? So when we start to actually in interactive relationship, we could start to see that. We could start to understand that. We could start to put ourselves in a more objective perspective. Then you will start to understand yourself a little bit more. And also you start to understand how you actually take on others' responses, how you react to others' responses, and how sometimes how you project your own ideas, your own perceptions upon others' responses, your own projection, but not the real. Sometimes it might not be really what the other person think the same, but it's your own projection. So with this interactive relationship and the attitudes with each other, it could really change the state of the relationship. Yeah, right. So we need to really have to build up a certain kind of awareness. Otherwise, we could easily lose control, because if we do not have those awareness, our mind can just fool us so easily, right? So can we see that, see through the mirror in the true sense, the way it is? A cat only sees a cat face in the mirror, not a lion's face, or a lion seeing a cat face in the mirror. So our life is actually like a mirror, or our living life is like a mirror. If you smile at it, it smiles back to you. But if you roar in front of it, it roars back to you. Right? So us being exist in a pack animal style, I mean, in the humanity is like we constantly interact with each other. So we know that whatever attitude we hold, or on at certain moment of our interaction with people, it comes back to you. So it's really not the other person's faults. If you are suffering, it's really not the other person's fault. You can see it through the mirror. If you roar at the mirror will come back to you like this. Okay? But if you have a big smile, then it smiles back to you. So whether you are pretty or not, the mirror reflects the truth. It doesn't reflect anything that is fake. Okay? So it really depends on how we actually treat others. If we actually see others as our mirror image, then if we see others behaving unwholesomely, and if we start behaving unwholesomely towards that unwholesome responses, then we are even worse than the other person. We allow the other person's unwholesomeness light up our own unwholesomeness. Right? If we do not have this unwholesomeness flames or matches in there, in our heart, in our mind, nobody can actually sparkle it, light it up. Nobody. But if we do have those matches in there, anybody with a match of unwholesomeness can just light up that match in you. Say, for example, if you do not have the seeds of or matches of anger, then no matter how people, get onto your nerves, You don't get angry. Can you see those people around you? Yes, of course. We mentioned that last week. Hanshan, Shide, right? The cold mountain. The cold mountain, right? So remember what he said, right? Hanshan to Shide, right? So that's exactly the same. So it really reflects, the other person actually allow us to reflect on ourselves. How should I actually respond? So our teacher was a very honest teacher. Okay, he never misguide us. He never mislead us. He always tells us the truth. And just like this mirror, it always tells us the truth and straightforward, selfless, not tainted. Okay, so the mirror in I think is a very magical thing. If we could actually carry a mirror all the time and look at ourselves all the time, I think we could actually create much less sufferings for ourselves. Okay. Our teacher, the Buddha, I think you have heard many stories about him, but if you recall a story about him and the drunken elephant, this is a very famous story in the Jatakas, or in the life stories of the Buddha. It's called the Jatakas, or in Dhammapada also. I cannot remember which verse, the 200-something verse. So this drunken elephant was, being fed with a lot of alcohol by the Buddha's cousin, Devadatta. Devadatta wanted to kill the Buddha. And so when the Buddha went out for alms, he sent this drunken elephant down the road to actually, with the intention of killing the Buddha, because the elephant was drunk, right? The elephant normally would not be so wild and so what do you call invasive. Okay, but yet this drunken elephant was not a tame elephant, was not a sober elephant. So he charged down the road, the path where the Buddha was going out for alms, and the Buddha saw him coming. But yet, the Buddha actually saw the Buddha nature of this elephant. And the Buddha reacted to this Buddha nature with the Buddha nature of compassion, of wisdom. And when the elephant got so close to the Buddha, the elephant just became so calm. And when the Buddha actually gestured to him, because he's got a name, the elephant names is Nalagiri. So the Buddha called out his name, Nalagiri, and gestured to him like this. And as soon as that gesture was done by the Buddha, when the Buddha called out his name, Nalagiri, the elephant just went down on his knees and became so calm and so respectful to the Buddha. So this madness was completely gone. And he allowed the Buddha to scratch his head, to pat his head. For us, if we see a drunken elephant, I think we'll be so scared. We threw our hands up the air and pull our hairs out, right? Because we would be so scared because we did not see the Buddha nature in the elephant. But yet the Buddha the Buddha showed us. We can actually deal with the person right in front of you or the animal right in front of you with a very different attitude. As I always say, we cannot change the outside world. We cannot force the outside world to change according to our wishes. But yet, we could change our attitude on how to deal with that outside world. Right? So this, I think this is a vivid example of depicting, telling us how we should actually see what is in front of us and change our attitude. And of course, when changing our attitude, we need a lot of stuff. The first thing is self-awareness. So self-awareness is just like a mirror. You're actually looking at yourself from a different angle, a mirror, and you look at yourself. And so when you look at this, and you can actually check on yourself is, wow, how do I feel now? Or how do this person feel now? Is this person very tense? Is this person very scared? Is he very agitated? Is he very irritated? Or is he very sad? Is he very angry? Or what is it? And then you start to dissect and understand that emotions. And when you start to actually look at that from this, you take a step back and you just look at that emotion. You don't actually identify that emotion will start to fade away. And when you take a step back, you're just like looking at the mirror, looking at that emotion like a mirror. Okay? So this is actually the first thing we should do when we start to act up with whatever, with yourself, about yourself, or with the outside world, or about the outside world. You should be aware enough to be aware. To remember that you need to be aware, okay? Then you take a deep breath, and when you take a deep breath, that means you actually take a step back. When you're able to take a step back, that gives you more space to look at yourself, to look at that reaction, to look at that person, to look at that emotion, to look at whatever, but give you more space to look at it. Okay? So this drawing back, this taking a step back, we always forget. Instead of taking a step back, what do? We take a step forward. We press on more, right? So we decrease that distance, that space. Wouldn't that actually create more difficulties? More pressure, more stress, right? So be smart. Take a step back. Give yourself more space. I remember when I taught meditation at school, I think it was one of your students, Laurie. Was it one of her students or Clara's students? Yeah. No, Clara's. Karen. The other teacher, Claire?
Across the school.
Across from your class, yeah. Yeah. I think he was in grade 5, and he was on the first row. And I had that Hoberman sphere out. The Hoberman sphere I used to teach. And I said, okay, when I open up that sphere, you know that sphere represents anger, okay? the more I open it, the more angry I am. That sphere can be collapsed just like this. Next week I'll show you the Hoberman sphere. And then it can collapse like this, and then it opens up, it opens up, it opens up like this. Okay? Do we have a Hoberman sphere here?
No, but I'm trying to.
I thought we have one in the...
I keep it in the workshop.
Oh, I see. But anyway, then I open it up, and I was really pressing onto that little guy. I said, this is anger. Anger is coming. Anger is coming. You know what he did? That's why I said children are really, their mind is so straightforward. It's not fake. He just pushed his chair back, push his chair back as far as he can, get away from the ball. But when I repeated this exercise with teenagers, in the teenager bereavement group, I did exactly the same. And I said, this is anger. This is anger. And this is anger. And I was pressing on to a young guy, maybe 16, 17. And he just sit there and press back. You see? You see the reactive behavior to the outside world. So are we like that? Check on ourselves. Are we like that? So the other person is really a mirror to us. If we don't have that awareness, that means we won't be able to understand ourselves at any moment of our life. Next slide, please. Next part, yeah. So we need to really understand, not understanding the other person, is understanding ourselves, our own behavior, our own mental state right now. Not others. Okay? So when we first react, a lot of times we react because this inner self, there is so much old habits in there. And a lot of times we just react with those old habits, zoom like this, zoom like this, zoom like this, all the time. So if we could have this awareness and understand a little bit more and more and more, it is just like this quote here. That's why I use a quote. This was a gift to me by my friend who actually used to be in the hospice. She coordinator. And the quilts, look at all these patches, little piece of fabric. People make beautiful quilt with leftover fabric. And yet, we could make a very beautiful self with very bits and bits of awareness, understanding, bits and bits of awareness and understanding. Every time we become aware, every time we understand ourselves a little bit more, that means we have one piece of fabric into that quilt. And this we will make a beautiful, beautiful quilt. We'll become the beautiful tailor, sewer, to make such a beautiful quilt. And it becomes a wonderful gift, right? Pleases yourself and pleases others. So when we start to have those awareness and understanding more and more often, and we catch ourselves more and faster and faster, more and more often, and those emotions that we have been hiding inside our mind will be dealt with more and more, more and more, more and more. And we actually would become more and more complete. like the moon, right? You don't see a moon in the middle of the month or in the 20th day of the month, and then gradually you see a little bit more until the full moon, then you see a complete moon. So that's how our practice actually can lead us to, is to, when we start to really see the ourselves right here, right now, the little bit that we understand about ourselves is one little piece of fabric. And we need to collect more of those fabrics. Remember that. Okay? And rather than, having so much self-guilt and self-shame, we don't need to. We don't need to. We need to accept ourselves the way we are and correct and improve ourselves. It's not that making, Sifu said, you don't need to feel guilty, you don't need to feel shameful about your behavior, then that is an excuse for you to behave the same way. No. I didn't say that. I say that those are the lessons for us to learn, but you don't need to, multiply them with guilt and shame. Then at that time you have double emotions to deal with. Okay? So reflective behavior is actually very, very important. Okay? So this self-awareness would lead us to what? To stopping sufferings. That's so simple. Because why? When we become aware, as I said, when you remember to take one deep breath and take a step backward, you stop at that moment, just 1 second. That 1 second, you actually stop creating sufferings for yourself, at least for 1 second, or at least for the duration of one deep breath. And if you could take 2 deep breaths for the duration of 2 deep breaths, that's even better. Right? That's why self-awareness is so important in a practice. And that's why the wise one always advocate, you have to develop this self-awareness. You have to develop this mindfulness. Because why? It could lead us to eradicate more and more about all of our sufferings. So, and also help us to reflect, right? And if we cannot reflect and if we cannot stop that, have that awareness, then we cannot stop the sufferings. Not just we cannot stop, we could actually easily multiply our sufferings, make it worse. If we don't address our issues, if we don't look at the issues straight into the mirror like that dog is actually very brave to look at himself, but he is scared too. You saw he retrieved, but yet he was so curious. He wanted to find out what that thing is in that mirror, in that image. So he go forward again, but yet he was scared, right? But if we do have this self-awareness, we won't be scared. We know this. Any emotions cannot stop us if we could hold our ground in that mindfulness. So remember, stop blaming yourself, stop losing your temper, stop losing your awareness, take a step back and reflect upon yourself and use that as the mirror. And look at that, you say, oh wow, if this person is behaving like this, do I really have to behave like him? I don't. And if he has this in him, I better check myself. If I do have those, as I said in the meditation, is what do? We pull those weeds out. We pull those weeds out. If we find that we have those weeds, we pull them out. But make sure You're not pulling out the grass. You're not pulling out the flowers. You're not pulling out the trees. Huh? You're pulling out the weeds. And that needs a lot of awareness, self-reflection. And that mirror has to be constantly wiped down, cleaned, okay? And not tainted. So, yes?
I found a picture if you want the Hoberman
Hoberman sphere?
sphere.
Oh, okay. So, as a summary, this self-awareness is just like this mirror. It's really a very crucial point, a very crucial quality that we need to have for self-growth and self-improvement. So, to us, in order to be somebody to help others, we need to actually hold those wholesome qualities in order to be able to help others. Otherwise, we can't help others to actually clear out their unwholesome qualities. We need to clear out ours first in order to be able to help us to clear out theirs. Okay? So, we need to stop right now, right here, to multiply all our sufferings. If we look at anything, everything, anybody, everybody in front of us like a mirror, then, and if we remember that, and if we could be continuously mindful about that, hopefully we'll be able to stop the sufferings and be happy and be peaceful. Like our dear friend here. Right? Can you show the Hoberman sphere? Oh, you did take a picture. Oh. Yeah, that was him. When I actually open up that big ball, you see that is called Hoberman sphere. And he was standing up. I thought he was sitting down. He actually moved away. He actually backed up, and he hit the person behind him, the table behind him. He was so smart. Yeah. I think he was in Karina's class. Yeah, that is the Hoberman sphere, which I used to teach a lot. Not just kids now, even for adults. So, you have any questions, any sharing about tonight? Quiet. No? Laurie? Yeah, Laurie want to say something.
Thank you, Sifu. I like what struck me was the part about small group and how we need that small group to help us and reflect our own behavior.
Yes.
And I see that more and more, and I value my seeing as my Dhamma brothers and sisters so much in that regard, because every day, just about every day, I'm surprised by something that they reflect back to me, and I go, oh, I need to fix that, I need to correct that, I need to change that. Or
good.
I can do that. So so I'm so grateful for that.
Yeah. Great, thank you, Laurie. Great, nice. Yeah. You know what my Sifu once said when when I first came here. Well, before I came here. So at that time, he just sent me and Yang Sifu away, 2 of us. But yet we thought, oh, well, 2 doesn't make a Sangha. So we, without seeking our Sifu's approval, invited 2 more Dhamma sisters to come. And then we told our Sifu, he wasn't happy. He wasn't happy. And you know what he said to us later on, to me actually later on? He said, 貴精不貴多. He said, 貴精 is the precious, it's better to have the best than better to have more. I didn't understand that at that time. When he said that to me, I didn't understand that. Then of course, a bigger Sangha became smaller, and then became smaller, and became smaller, and became smaller. But yet, I remember what he said to us. And he also said, if you bring in a wild cat, it will create turmoils and chaos and hiccups. A wild cat. And I totally understand now. I totally understand. Of course, 26 years in here, I think I should have learned a little bit, a little bit more. But yeah, I totally agree with this really small, cohesive group. It really could actually help us to improve and progress so much and grow so much. Yeah, good. Anybody else?
Maria has her hand up again.
Go ahead, Maria.
Hello?
Yes.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, good. Yes, I have a question. I don't know if it's a valid question, but anyways, it's something that I'm wondering. I totally understand that we mirror the things that bother us, in us, we see in others. But what happens when actually other people have issues that they are reflecting in us? So how we can see if it's us and our own issues, or the other person that have certain issues that are reflecting in us? I don't know if I explain well my question.
Okay, great. Okay. That's why you need awareness. You need mindfulness. If you're aware, then you know that is not your stuff. That is his garbage. If you do not have awareness, and you forget to check, you don't check yourself. Awareness is checking yourself, understanding yourself, and cutting up yourself to see whether you have that garbage. Then if you don't check on yourself, and you will never know. You always think that the garbage is theirs, their garbage is not my garbage. They're throwing the garbage onto me only. So that's why awareness is so important. And you need to be constantly aware. When you are aware, people cannot throw garbage into you. You have a shield around you. Because you don't take those garbage. Because the awareness helps you to actually stop that. It really protects you. And I remember I asked my Sifu, my teacher, questions too. I said, Sifu, how do we actually get rid of jealousy? And he asked me back. He said, what is jealousy? How does it feel like? I don't know what is jealousy. I don't know how jealousy feels like. He asked me what is jealousy. That means he doesn't have any jealousy. So when we feel that somebody is jealous of us, then we have a lot of jealousy seeds in us. You know what? Okay? That's how I feel. That's how I interpret. So always self-reflecting. Always check onto yourselves first before reacting to others.
Yeah, thank you so much. That makes totally sense.
It makes sense. Good. Thank
Yeah,
you.
it makes totally sense. It works both ways now.
Yes,
Both
yes,
ways.
it does. It does. It's a mirror. Thank you, Maria.
Right.
Yep.
Thank you. Thank
You're
you.
welcome. Okay. Anybody else have anything to share tonight? It's a deep topic. It's actually quite a deep topic. It's deeper than I thought. But I think it's a really wonderful topic. Nora, yes.
So something else that I've heard, I mean, the way you explain it is clear to me just because I've heard your teachings and stuff like that, but first maybe as somebody else, to think of it as being curious. I love that word. It's just like,
Yeah.
oh, I wonder why they're angry, or I wonder
Yeah.
why I'm angry.
Yeah.
So it's just, like you say, self-reflecting, but another way to look at it is, oh, just get curious.
Yeah. 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 When you start to get curious, you stop already. You stop being angry, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Good. Great. Thank you. Thank you, Nora.
Yeah.
Good. Interesting topic. Yeah? You like that doggy video? I love it. It's great. Okay? No more? Okay. Homework next week. Page 30, right? Oh, beautiful crocuses. Yeah, page 30 and 31, all right? If you do not have a book, let us know. If you want more books, let us know. Okay? All right, and so, announcement, nurture your kind and giving heart. So 1 meter square project. I know you all heard about this, but I need to remind you to save your coffee money. Every day to save your coffee money. And to ask your friends to support us too. Okay? All right, then we will dedicate our merits. May these blessings extend to all, that we with all the other living beings together will attain the Buddha way. May we wish more and more people will encounter the wise words of the Buddha, to study them, to understand them, and to practice them, and to help them to liberate from their own sufferings, entanglements, difficulties, and be ultimately truly free and happy and peaceful. May you all have a good week.